going to continue the tour. This is events. This is the event section. You can search by event name, client, start date, or end date. We will pop in today's date. The results will start with today and go forward. We will click this party taking place tomorrow. The top card is the event details. This is the basic information for each event, the client name, the venue, the location. This is a free-form text field that could be specific to something in the venue, like the meeting room, or it could be in the northwest corner of the ballroom. It could really be anything you want there. That is available for an additional way to kind of specify where this is taking place. Start date, start time, end date, end time, what type of event it is. The billing contact it defaults to the same as the client, but it can be different. We can also add an unlimited number of contacts. However, they are not categorized or assigned any kind of a user role. If we know a budget, we can do it. The agent can be assigned, notes can be added, who the point of contact is, the guest arrival time, attendance. We used to use event forms, and we would keep track of whether or not we sent those there. We still do that occasionally. And then the event status, this changes automatically. We'll do a sample walkthrough, and that is that. Now, when you look at the card here, this financial detail here is being pulled from below. Tasks and logs, those are relevant to that event. Products, this is the product, is the only product that was pitched. We can add products if we wanted to. This one, I would not do that. But if we look at the product pitched, when we create a new product with an event, it defaults to pitched phase. But then as it moves through the workflow, the contract what goes from pitch to hold. We can only send contracts on artists that are on hold. Once we send the contract, it goes to booked. Once the contract comes back, it goes to confirmed. That can be manually set, or it can happen automatically as these date fields are filled in. These are all pretty self-explanatory. A lot of these port to both the client contract and or the artist contract. There are a number of different contracts that are used, but yes, and then special instructions ports only to the artist contract. It is not normally seen by the client. So if there's specific information that we only want to communicate to the artist, we usually put it here in special instructions. But what the client's doing, what the artist is doing, that shows up on both contracts. So the payment information is recorded here. So I'm going to go back to the product. When we put the gross price in, we can set the booking percentage, or we can override it and hard key in a specific amount. Let's see. We can require a deposit. Typically, it defaults to 50% of the gross, but it can be manually adjusted. We talked about the booking fee. The product fee is what the artist will walk away with. That is their net. And I call that out because if there were multiple artists on this engagement, then those numbers would automatically be shown up here. Cost of goods sold is the total to the artist. Nothing has been paid to the artist, so the balance due the artist is $875. Booking fees are $250. $250 is recorded. First money in is recorded. They've actually paid in full. So our fee has been fully recorded and recognized. The event cost is the total. That's these two combined. We've received payment in full. Balance for the client is $0. So after the job plays tomorrow, we will pay the artist on Monday. That will get recorded, and then this job will go to all zeros. Some follow-up will be done. It will be marked done. So here's their one payment. It was paid on the 8th. It was paid via direct deposit, ACH, reference number, amount, and we noted that it was paid by credit card, including a credit card fees. The actual payment made, was slightly higher than the total amount due. We pass that 3% of the total on to the customer if they're paying with credit card. Before we go on to reporting and administration, I will give a sample workflow. A new client may call in or email or fill out a form on the website. First thing we will do is we will search to see if that client exists in the database. If they do not, we will create a new event. We will name it. We will assign a customer. It could be, I typed a company name plus a test customer. We could deal with just a customer or the customer and the organization they're associated with, either or. So in this case, test customer might be the client. This could be a anniversary party for he and his wife. This could also be a company picnic for the company that he works for. So we have it set up so either scenario could work. In this case, we'll do the company. We'll add it. The venue could be anything. We do have some test venues in here. Let's say it's taking place at their location. We will set it up for their location. And we'll pick a random date. Sometimes this is very cumbersome. In our next iteration, I'd like a more elegant, streamlined way to do that. Let's say this is a corporate event. I'm the agent. No notes at this point. It is an inquiry. And the report to contact defaults to the test customer, which is the person associated with this job. I'm using z-test because we use that frequently. That will avoid it falling into, it will be easy to overwrite. Now, one of the first things I always do is add a task so that it shows up on my task list. This is not automated in any way, shape, and form. And one of our big fears is that an event is created, no task is recorded, and the event is kind of forgotten about and not given attention. There is no safety mechanisms in place to remind us that that's the case. We may log that all right. So self-explanatory, we've logged, let's say they have a budget of $2,500. And the next step would be to identify some bands to pitch to them. I may click a band. Whoops, I just noticed I did not adjust the end date. I'll fix that on the worksheet, but it goes to pitch status, it goes to the default price. If we quote it at a unique price, like I may quote this at $2,500, that needs to manually be changed to half. If it books, it is still in a pitched phase. I may or may not fill out these other fields at this point in time. I might pitch another band. I might pitch 2 or 3 bands. This is all very manual. I can do it as a test band. Those dates automatically default to the dates that are up here. So if I fix this, any additional products that are added or pitched are, it automatically ports down to them. Now, let's say they review this, some time passes, and they decide they want to book the test band. I would switch this to hold and fill in all of these details. Casual, that is that group size. Whoops, cancel that. The test band goes to hold. They're going to hire the 3-piece, fill that in, fill that in. Uh, it, it can automatically, what the client provides, can automatically populate if that is filled out on the product name record. Special instructions, they got a discount because they hired a smaller group. It's manually negotiated and set for each individual job. There's no standardization. Why prices are what they are. There's a lot of different factors that can play into that. Now this is ready to go into contract. If I go to reports, I can issue a number of different contracts. We can do a separate contract for the artist versus the client. The normal order of operation is client signs their contract first, then an artist contract is generated. We do have visions of ultimately having a unified contract where the artist and the client sign the same document. That does not currently exist, but it would be pretty easy to produce from this. For demonstration purposes, we will load the engagement agreement. It downloads as a Word document. I've loaded the Word document. You can see it's made today with test customer, care, or with test company, care of test customer for this artist, the date, the time, the performance fee, what the artist is providing. These all ported over. This is saved using our naming convention, and then it is uploaded to a e-signature service for the client to sign. Sometimes I sign these in advance. Sometimes I sign them after the customer. There's some rules there, but we don't need to go over that because it's not pertinent to the application at this point in time. Back to the worksheet. Let's say the client has, well, once the contract gets sent, we show that it's been issued, changes that to contract out. Let's say it comes back tomorrow. That changes to booked. And then we may go through the same process, good reporting, entertainer contract, issue that contract, and go down here, click in, note that the contract, let's say that went out on the 6th, that is saved. That changed from hold to booked, and this, let's say that got done, and then a new task for next week is artist contract back. So there's a number of different things. If there's any touch bases or confirmations that need to take place, they can be added as tasks. And there is a pretty typical workflow. Contracts, we may check for monies, deposit in, let's say that. And that's kind of how it flows. So that is a typical job. I'm not going to record money because this is in a production database, but we can add the client payment from them to us and the date, what form of payment, reference number, the amount. We typically show our fee and the first dollars received and any notes. And when we pay the artist, same process, we add the artist payment. This is duplicate entry. We use QuickBooks for accounting. So invoicing frequently takes place in QuickBooks, and then notes have to be made here. That is creating and running through a job in a nutshell.